The Jak-12 is the new shotgun to hit the scene for Modern Warfare. With its 32 round drum, frag rounds, and even fire breath, it can definitely be a dangerous tool up close for multiplayer and Warzone. But can it compete with the Origin and the R9 with its fire breath? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. If you find yourself enjoying this type of content or even my sweet voice, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to join the Rat Gang. We also have our Discord, Instagram, everything down below. But let's get into this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over all the guns and all the statistics that we have. I'm pulling this from Exclusive Ace, Drifter, Jack Frags, J-God, myself, and just compiling them into an average so that we can get a clean number for everything. You might have seen these numbers before. And then after that, we're going to go over some gameplay clips and show you what these guns look like in different situations. I use them in Plunder, Warzone, and multiplayer. I don't think we need to use them because just about all of them are one-shot kills. I also have some screenshots of hip-fire kills so you can see what that looks like when they're built 100% for accuracy. And also a little bit secret about the Jak-12, but let's get into this. So the first thing that we have is the R9 with the Dragon's Breath. Now, keep it in mind, this is a 2-shot kill at 2 milliseconds at 8.5 meters. If it takes 3 shots to kill, now generally this is if you have an odd number of rounds in the R9, as it is a double pump, it will shoot the 1 round and then shoot another round unless you kind of reset it. So in order to get that 2 pump, it has to be on an even number. So if it's at 3 seconds, your time to kill goes up to 700 milliseconds. Now this is at 8.5 meters, so remember that number will be important later. So for the Origin or 2-shot kill is 223 milliseconds at 4.5 meters. Now this is a little slower to kill than the R9, and you have to be closer to use it, so we can go ahead and rule that out altogether. And so right now we're against the R9 and the Jak-12. Now the Jak-12 2-shot kill is 178 milliseconds at 4 meters. Now this is closer. This is actually half of the range of the R9, but it's also really fast. I mean, this thing shoots at like 338 rounds per minute. I think the Origin, as an example, it shoots like 250 or 260. So it's definitely putting a lot more rounds downfield faster. A 3-shot to kill is at 350 milliseconds. And this is when it really matters. That's also at 7 meters. It was about 6.5 to 7 meters. So I have plenty of clips where I'm just running through people. I even take out a whole team of 3. Granted, I did stun them and they didn't see me there, but I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do that with the R9. So I'm going to show you a couple of clips in these different situations and you can make your mind up for yourself. But after seeing a lot of them, I'm going to talk through a little bit with them about my general consensus and what I think about my final opinion. And I'm also going to give you 3 classes, 1 to use for each one of these weapons to try and make them as valuable as possible. I'm also going to go over a little bit with the Jak-12 as the choke and the Marauder. The statistics are misleading if you're looking at the actual statistic bar down low with damage and range. So I want to highlight that and go over that with you as well. So before we get into it, I wanted to say the first clip is going to be of the Origin, then the R9, and the Jak-12. And you're going to notice I've tried to put myself up close, medium, and far ranges, so I'm taking shots from all different angles to show you guys what it looks like in different scenarios. Now, I know we went over the 2 to 3 shot kill range, but that's not always practical, right? I mean, that makes it like if the sniper rifles are always a 1-shot to the head, they're dominating. Well, you also still have to put yourself in a position to take that shot. And it's the same thing with the shotguns. You're not always going to be able to get right up close and personal to really capitalize on that 2 to 3 shot kill range. And so I wanted to put you guys in different scenarios and see how different guns handled in those scenarios. So this is what it looked like. So the first thing you're going to notice with the Origin is that it takes a while to kill. Now it can be up to a 3 to 5 shot kill in Warzone. Now again, this is Plunder, so sometimes they had 2 plates, sometimes they had 3. It was kind of hard to tell. I tried to do the best that I could, but you're going to notice that it's a almost 2 to 3 shot kill to down, and then another 2 or 3 shots to finish, so almost 6 shots in total. But at medium and long ranges, it can go up to even 15 and 16 shots. This time to kill is just way too slow for a shotgun. You're better off using a submachine gun or even an AR. So for me, the Origin, it's out. So with the R9, something I tried to really get in a situation to show is that there's many a times you're going to get into a gunfight with the R9, and the gun damage itself, although pretty good but not excellent, won't down them. It's the fire damage that will get them at medium to longer ranges. Now there's plenty of times where you're going to be in a firefight in a stairwell, maybe you get some pops off, you break the armor, they run away, and the fire damage is actually what gets them and not the lead up second or third or the 3rd or 4th shot with the R9. And so I think this is where the gun strength is that medium to long range. Of course, it is completely deadly up close, but how it stacks against the Jak-12, I think the Jak-12 still has a little bit of an edge for the up close to medium range, as you're kind of waiting for the tick damage of the fire damage for the R9 to really be reliable. Now in this next clip, you're going to see I completely mowed down 3 people. Yes, I did stun them and they didn't see I was coming, but I don't think there's any way I could do this with the R9. Trust me, I had my reservations about the Jak-12 and I didn't want it to be better than the R9, but I'm here to tell you, yes, it is the new overpowered shotgun shotgun in the game. You're able to mow down groups of people amazingly fast and at medium to long ranges. Now you're gonna see in these clips that I put anywhere from about 6 to 12 to even 15 shots in these people to down them and kill them. But that's also because I'm at medium to long ranges. There's actually very few clips where I'm actually right next to somebody, and it seems to be about a 3 to 4 shot kill, although I do miss a lot of shots. And that's because of the hip fire. If you actually look at the hip fire, it is the tightest spread. Of course, I'm going to go over the screenshots and the loadouts in the back end of this video, but I want to mention this real quickly. The choke and the Marauder are the two barrels that are going to be fighting for each other, and the muzzles, because the Marauder is silenced, and it's going to say it has more damage and more range. That's actually not true. And everything that I've done, the choke has a higher range while ADS, and it even has a tighter hip spread. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Don't be confused by that. Unless you want to stay off the radar, build a choke for the best range. Now I will say, because it is a tighter circle, I did miss a lot more of my shots, and I actually might recommend the Marauder not only for staying off the radar, but giving a little bit of leeway to the hip fire, so it's not really hit or miss. You can still maybe get a couple pellets on the target. So this is a crude drawing I did in Photoshop. I took all the hip fires from the game and put them in Photoshop and then just traced them with different colors. You have a color grid outline right there for you. The first thing you're going to notice is that the Jak-12 is dominating everything, and the Origin's actually beating the R9. That actually may be just a mix-up. I believe the Origin's actually worse than the R9, but you know, whatever, you do what you can. But the big thing I wanted to get over here is that the Jak-12 is dominating everything, and the choke is better for you than the Marauder. This is actually the proof that I have for it. I mean, you can test it in your game itself, but when you use the choke with the build that I'm going to give you, there's absolutely no space between the reticle itself, and then with the Marauder, there's actually a little space here and there, giving it a wider spread. But now let's jump into the builds and let's get this video over with. Now the first thing I want to show you is the Jak-12 build. This is the choke, the torrent barrel, the 5M laser, the 32 round mag, and the stippled grip. I found out this gives the best range with the closest hip fire that you could possibly have. With that, I have the R9. I'm going to show you the choke, the tac sentry, 5M laser, dragon's breath, and stippled. Now I guess you could take this off for whatever and, you know, maybe increase the damage range, but there's no reason to use slug rounds when you got damage like that from the fire. Now the third and final class is the Origin. Like I said, I know that it's a soft spot in people's hearts. I don't recommend it personally when you have these other two legends lying around, but if you're going to use it, use the choke, impaler, 5M laser, 25 round mag, or you could even go with the 12 or stippled. Now let's take a look and see what this looks like inside the game. So one thing you're going to notice right away is that the Jak-12's hip fire is exactly what I said it was. It is totally better than any of the other ones. I got the R9 equipped as a secondary just to show you real quickly. It's not even close. Now it is something to note that the Jak-12 will ADS extremely slow compared to the R9 in this build, but when you got 30 rounds in the clip, doesn't really matter. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the Origin. People have a soft spot for the Origin, so I mean, this is the hip fire as you can tell, and although it is a semi-automatic, that is something it has over the R9, it still has the worst hip fire to the R9, making the Jak-12 the best shotgun you need to use right now in Warzone. Best fire rate, longest range, and best hip fire. It's hard to argue with that. Alright, my fellow rats, I know that was a long video, but I wanted to do this one really justice. I just didn't want to say it was overpowered or, you know, give you any reason to use it without really going into details on this one. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you guys. Please leave a like, subscribe, show your friends. We're trying to get up to 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers, as some of the comments in the past videos have said. As always, guys, I love y'all. Peace.